Hello everybody. Alright, today I'm going to do the review of the Parker 82R. Been shaving with this for a while. Got quite a few shaves under my belt with it. First things I notice about this, it's a very, very shiny. Chrome and nickel. I believe the top cap is nickel plated and the handle is chrome. Real hard to get a good picture of this thing. Very solidly constructed. I think it is 34 ounces. It's not the heaviest of the Parkers. The 99R, I believe, is the heaviest, and it's like 37, 38 ounces, something like that. In looking at this, and when I first started shaving with it, one of my first impressions is it wasn't quite as smooth as I thought it was. So you really have to kind of play around with the blades. And what I found was, a sharper blade kind of worked a little bit better. But that's a personal preference. I could say a sharp blade works well in it for me, but for you, it could be a more smoother blade works better. It just kind of depends. I'm going to use the Personna blade that I've been testing out. I've got, I think this is going to be the 8th shave on this. It's this Personna from 1960s. It's not the original Personna that was in the advertisements, the commercials, but I've got one of those ordered. I found one British-made processed blade. And a follow-up video whenever I do get that blade, and whenever I do kind of finish out testing this blade, I'll give you some more information about it. I've done some research, and I got some interesting facts about what I found out in the history of Personna blades, particularly in the 1960s. Okay, I'm going to do my shave. One of the things that clued me in is comparing the shape and configuration of the head. This is a fat boy, a 195 adjustable. And the configuration of the head is more similar to a fat boy than it is to the slim. It's a little bit taller this way, which is what makes the fat boy's configuration need a little bit more steeper angle, and this razor needs a little bit more steep angle. I got my soap here, got my brush soaking, get my lather going. It's a well-constructed razor. And like I said before, it's not as robust a construction as what you're going to find in a vintage razor, but it's going to be better than a lot that are out there. It's going to hold up. Now, some people I think have said that a lot of information about Parker razors was from an earlier generation of Parker razors. Parker razors got a lot of bad rap because of less attention to quality control and fit and finish, they've improved a lot in the last few years. So if someone tells you, oh, Parker razors, they're no good, not good quality, they suck, ask them where they get their information from. Have they tried a Parker razor in the last few years? Because their quality has improved. Now, I didn't experience Parker razor before their quality improved. So I really don't know what it is. But a lot of people, I read some reviews on this razor, so, oh, the doors don't fit together. Well, the doors fit together fine. But like I said, modern razors, it doesn't, you just snug them down. Oh, there was another comment. No, it wasn't on this one. It was on the Mercure. But it looks very, very similar to the classic Super Speed in general style, but more like the Fat Boy. Eight shaves on this blade, pretty nice. And like I say, notice that I do have to do a little bit steeper angle with this. If you do like that, it is going to be rough. And that's what I was doing first. I wasn't doing that steeper angle. Once I got that steeper angle, the shave smoothed out quite a bit. And that's because that top cap is taller than the average Super Speed knockoff. Just a comment about these Personna blades. There's a lot of people that the modern lab blades, they think that you get better shaves after you put a few shaves on a blade. And I think that's true. I think that's true. I think that may be true on more blades than what you think. Now, I've commented before about where in the world did we get the idea of 3 shaves on a blade? And it goes back to where my first experience with DE89 was that, yeah, it tended to go through the blades faster than my other razors. So I got 3 shaves off of a blade that I normally would get 5 or 6. And I don't know exactly what it was about the DE89, but the DE89 was one of the very popular first razors that a lot of people had. So they got in their frame of mind that a razor blade only lasts 3 shaves. Even after they moved on to other razors, that maybe they could have gotten more. Now, the one thing I can say about this also, in comparison to a super speed in general, is that I can't shave with this as quickly as I can with a standard super speed. I can't, and of course I can't shave with my Fat Boy as fast because I crank it up. Now I wouldn't say that this Parker razor is the equivalent of the Fat Boy on 9, which is my favorite setting. But I would say it's maybe a 6 or a 7. 5 to 7, somewhere around in there. Because my Fat Boy set on 9 is very efficient. And this isn't quite as aggressive as that. It's definitely more aggressive than your average super speed. Now I'm doing this video early Sunday morning. Very early Sunday morning. Like about 5 o'clock Sunday morning. And you know why? Not because I needed to get up that early, but just because I wanted to get the video done and to be able to process it, get it ready, and be able to get it up a reasonable amount of time before the weekend's over. But, I'll do a little bit more here. The last shave I had with this Personna blade, I did Friday night, thinking that I would be able to do a shave Saturday evening for the video. Well, I used the Fat Boy cranked up to 9, and I got probably the closest, the smoothest, the best shave I've had in a very, very long time. It was so good that by Saturday evening, 8, 9 o'clock, I didn't have a whole lot of stubble. So then when I finally went to bed about 11, I figured out, well, yeah, it's getting there. I ought to be able to shave early in the morning and get this thing up fairly early. So, overall opinion of the Parker 82R is it's a very nice, well-constructed razor. It is about $30, somewhere around in that neighborhood. Fit and finish seems to be above average. One thing I noticed is that the grooves in here, you got to clip. It's harder to keep them clean and shiny. It doesn't slip in the fingers. At least it doesn't slip in mine. It's adequately heavy, which I like a lot. It's very shiny, and it should be a razor that would give you many, many good shaves for a very long time. So if you like a heavy razor and you want a butterfly, then this would be a good choice. Clean it out and let you look on the inside of here. Let you have a good look. It looks like a lot of your well-made Gillette razors. And like I say, I believe the top cap is nickel. The bottom is chromed over brass. So, until next time, have some good shaves. Try to be happy, but definitely be safe. We'll talk with you later. Bye-bye.